Today I want to go over shoulder external rotation exercises from the easiest to the most challenging versions, and this is great for rotator cuff rehabilitation. First, we're going to start with in the sideline position. This is the sideline position. I recommend using a cushion put under the arm or working the top arm here into rotation. So start over here and you rotate your arm up. This is without resistance, but we're going against gravity in this position, so it still takes some effort. To make this exercise more challenging, you can hold a weight in your hand and do the same exercise, so this will add to the difficulty. If you use dumbbells, you can easily gauge how much resistance that you are using. Usually we can do 1 pound, 2 pound, 3 pound, 4 pound, and go from there. Next, we're going to do shoulder external rotation in the standing position. Again, we're going to put a cushion under the arm and to externally rotate like this. So this is active external rotation range of motion. We can add resistance to this exercise by using a resistance band. It looks like this. I want to go over some common postural mistakes or compensations, as we call them, for this exercise. One is the shoulder positioning. So if you're in a slouch position, you will have a harder time doing this exercise. So make sure your body is upright. You're not in a slouch position. Your shoulders are to be around almost neutral. You don't have to bring it all the way back, but you make sure you're at least not in a slouch position. Another common mistake when you do shoulder external rotation is not using the shoulder enough. A lot of patients, when we add resistance to the exercise because of the increased difficulty, they like to use their triceps instead. So instead of rotating like this, they're doing a little bit of this. So it gives them an illusion that they are pulling the resistance band, but they're really just extending their elbows instead of rotating the shoulder. Usually this can be fixed by using visual feedback by doing this in front of a mirror, and they can check if their arm is doing the correct movement or the wrong movement. Another common mistake doing this exercise is moving the wrist instead of the shoulder. Some of my patients, they would move the wrist and it gives them the illusion that they are pulling the band, but in reality they're working only their wrist and their shoulder is doing almost nothing. Again, this can be corrected by doing the exercise in front of a mirror for visual feedback, so you can catch yourself when you're doing something funny like this. Usually the resistance band is great for rehabilitation. You can go from least resistance band, which is about 1 to 2 pounds, and go a little bit higher each time, 2 to 3 pounds resistance band, and then 2 to 4 pounds resistance band. And after that, it might be a better idea to use a dumbbell instead. So you might graduate to a 3-pound dumbbell, 4-pound dumbbell. You cannot use the dumbbells the same way you use the resistance band, but you can use it in a slightly different position. You can do it in a seated position. So if you're using a weight, you just bring your leg up here and you can do this movement. So this is still shoulder external rotation, but this is with the shoulder in a more abducted position. So it is more difficult, a little more challenging than when you have your arm by your side. You can also do shoulder external rotation in shoulder abducted position. This is definitely more advanced than having your arm by your side, because if you have some type of rotator cuff injury, it will be a bit more painful when you have your arm out like this. You will have your arm rested. You can do this at a table. It doesn't have to be the exact position. If your seat is a little bit higher, let's say it's over here, That is fine. This is not wrong. I'll demonstrate in this position. So this is shoulder external rotation. If you're using a weight, it'll go like this. If you're using a table is usually a bit lower, but this is fine. You can still do external rotation. This is fine as long as you're not doing something like this. Because when you do this, you're just using your biceps. You're moving your elbow. You're not moving your shoulder. This is another common mistake. This is also something that can be fixed by doing the exercise in front of a mirror. If you catch yourself doing this, you know you're doing it wrong. This, better. Probably the most advanced version of shoulder external rotation is doing the shoulder external rotation with the shoulder abducted without any support. So this movement requires the most stability for the shoulder. To add resistance, you can hold the resistance band just like this. You can also do this exercise with both arms to make it more symmetrical. If you're in the gym, you can use a column machine with pulleys, and you can do more resistance that way doing this exercise. A lot of the times they have these handles that you can attach to these machines, and there's two different kinds that you can use. One looks like a rope, it looks like a Y. I don't really like that one because it forces your arm into this position, which is a little bit of internal rotation, so you don't get the full external rotation. So I actually recommend having two separate attachments, so kind of two separate cables, one for each arm and one handle for each arm. So you can do the exercises without being limited by the short Y-shaped rope.